Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only...
Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It is Monday night and it's ladies' night, and it's good evening to Katie, Sav and Kendall. Hi, girls.
Hiya.
Hi. Hi.
I'm glad we're doing this show on a Monday, because it always feels like we're going to have a big sigh of relief, especially when the game was played so early this weekend and it was so depressing. And Katie already, Richard Anderson's just tuned in and said, I'm here a bit too soon, but I can't wait to hear Katie give us a range of her vocabulary after that display by Newcastle on Friday. I did get something sent by somebody, I couldn't load it on, and it's a watch, which I'm just trying to check the guy's name here. Richard Johnson sent this, and basically it's a watch you can buy, and it's scientists have invented it that gives you an electric shock every time you swear. But there is a picture of somebody with a skeleton and like all spiky hair after it, and that's what he said you like if you got one. So what's your take on that result? What was your take on the game then?
What an utter pile of wank. It was absolutely just ridiculous. There's no other way to say it. We were completely shit. Shah had it perfectly and said it and his after the match interview that we were just shit. I can't think of one positive at all. We were boring. We didn't have a fucking clue what we were doing. Like, we weren't organised in the slightest. Southampton were pushing and pushing. Basically, they were all over us, in our faces from the moment the whistle went. And all we did was run around after the ball like fucking muppets. Like, literally, I just don't understand. I mean, they had a centre-back playing their left-back, but yet we focused on going down the left as opposed to going down the right, where their weakness was. I just don't understand. With Everton, you can tell that we probably did some homework. Fuck knows what fucking homework they did for Southampton.
None.
Unless we actually did fucking maths homework or science or something, because we weren't fucking watching the footy. We were completely unprepared. I'm absolutely in a fucking foul mood now. The fact that Wilson's out, which I suppose that's the only one. I'm just going to sound really weird, actually. The only one positive is that his hamstring's gone in that match, and we've got international break, and it wasn't after the international break, so we've got a few bit more time. But no, they can fuck off. It's just constant inconsistency. It's absolutely boring, and it's the same with what the pundits are going on about as well. Fucking dickheads. I don't like it. I'm completely envious now of everybody else who supports other teams, because at least that they know that when they go to watch their games, they're going to see some form of consistency. We've got no form of consistency whatsoever. The only consistency we probably have at the moment, really, is Darlow. He'll make some really amazing saves, and he'll make a few odd mishaps. But it was just a fucking utter pile of wank. And I don't think there's any other way to say it. If anyone can find any positive on that, I'll be quite shocked.
Who was the biggest disappointment for you? Obviously, we did the live with the lads for the match, but the midfield seems to be the biggest criticism, I think, from the weekend. And you seem to have been trying different players in different roles. Obviously, Sean Longstaff and Hendrick filling that midfield role. Did they disappoint you? Who was on form and who was off form?
Hendrick. What? Why was he on when Hayden wasn't? That was just, I know that a lot of people said he was a great signing because he was free. And a lot of people said you'll regret getting him because he'll be one of them players where it will go for like the odd magic moment and then you'll see fuck all. Like, I thought that we were bringing him in as a squad player, not a first team player, not in every fucking match. I just don't see. I know that you obviously rate him, but I don't agree with you rating him at the moment because his form's been absolutely shocking in my opinion. He's just basically there dilly-dallying around Longstaff needs more game time really to be actually judged because he's barely ever on the pitch. But Hendrick was I would have taken him off earlier, but obviously it's Bruce. He doesn't take people off.
Yeah, I mean, with Hendrick, I think, there's no defence and defending the indefensible. I don't think he was very good at all at the weekend, but, nobody came out of that game with credit. But, it's hard. It's hard for everybody at the minute. And we'll come to Martin's question later about the dressing room after we've heard from Sav and Kendall about their reviews of the game. Sav, any positives?
You know what? Right from the moment when they said it was going to be unchanged from Everton, I knew it was going to be a shit show because he obviously hasn't looked at who we're facing and set up the team any differently from the last match because we won the last match. So why won't we win this match with the same setup? And, Everton, they were a weak team and they weren't playing well, whereas Southampton's just a whole different game. Everyone looked unhappy. Everyone looked like they didn't really know what they were supposed to be doing. It was boring to watch. It just was... There was no flow. We can't pass the ball. We passed the ball in right at the back on the corner of our penalty area, and we invite them to come and get the ball off us and go at the goal. And that was the main issue that was going on. And there was no forward play. Like Kate says now, Wilson's injured. Brilliant. Who are we going to stick up front? Someone actually read that on
Championship.
Yeah. I was like, who are we going to stick up front, actually? Because no one else has worked, have they? God knows. He'll probably stick a defender up front knowing Steve Bruce. But no, it was just shocking. It was embarrassing to watch. But, yeah, no, it was crap.
Yeah, can't defend that either. Kendall, you're going to go down the same road, I presume?
Yeah, this is how bad it went. Joe Linton came on, had a header on goal, and that was the only thing we did all game. Literally, that one thing, that's all we did all game. We didn't have anything else to do all game. It was absolutely embarrassing. Their first goal, the defending was a disgrace. It was an absolute disgrace. My 3-year-old has more defensive awareness than that lot there for their first goal. Because I cannot see what half of them were even thinking to do at all. Just people constantly out of position. Hendrick just runs around like a headless chicken. I've said for weeks, I've said on the show, I do not know what he brings to the team. I don't know what position he improves. He doesn't improve out wide. He doesn't improve centrally. I have now come to the decision that he actually brings nothing. Nothing. Not 1% of a thing does he bring. I don't even know why. Other fans are like, oh, well, he's actually all right. He's decent. Where? When was he decent? 4 years ago? I'm so confused. Hayden's been our most solid player for literally 2 years now. 2 years. And where's he at? He's sat on the bench like absolute melon, just sitting there doing that. Doesn't even come on. How can you sit and watch that as a football manager and think to yourself, oh, well, it's half time, it's all right, I'm not going to make no changes. After the first half. I just don't understand that at all. It's just so weird to me that you wouldn't try and improve a performance that was really, really bad. I really just do not get it. St. Maximin, centrally, again, how many games does he have to play until they don't put him there anymore? He's completely wasted. He is literally being pardewed by Bruce. How have we got to this point? I really don't know. We had one decent half of football against Everton. We were buzzing. The whole week was great. We've now had another full 90 minutes of absolute drosh. And I just honestly, now Wilson's injured, I don't know where we're going to go from here, to be honest, because who's it going to be up front? Joe Linton.
Okay, we'll come to you with that. We'll come to you with that. I mean, how big a blow is it? I mean, we're talking now about potentially losing Wilson for 8 weeks. Got an international break, which, Katie's already mentioned. We've gone into a small comfort. But, how big a blow is it losing Wilson, Kendall?
It's massive. Not even just for me personally, but it's just massive because we all said at the beginning of the season, we were like a Wilson and St. Maximin away from relegation, genuinely, because we have no other creativity in the team. Gill's still not back till the end of December. Joe Linton, we have all been through a season of Joe Linton as a number 9. He can't play there. Andy Carroll literally opens a bag of crisps and breaks his wrist. Like, there's just, I genuinely don't know who we're going to put up there unless he decides that St. Maximin's going to be the saviour. I don't know. I really don't. Or Almiron and St. Maximin up front together. I just don't know what's going to happen. I honestly don't.
Yeah, Katie, it's not a good news when you lose somebody who's in form. But Callum Wilson predicted this at the start of the season, didn't we? If you bring in one striker, be back to square one. We're going to be left with Carroll and Joe Linton, and it's just not good.
Is that your mic?
I was going to say, I thought,
yeah.
As if it was me.
It sounds like you're bleeping yourself while swearing.
Oh, does it? Does it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Hold on. Wait a minute.
What
I'm
did
gonna revert. I'm gonna revert to the to the computer mic because obviously there's issues with the audio. Bear with us.
I thought it might be me because I just thought maybe I was just hearing it because no one else's face was like.
Right, can you hear us, Bill?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, Katie, what about Callum Wilson? We predicted this at the start of the season. If we lost him, then we would be left with Joe Linton and Andy Carroll. It's not acceptable, really, is it? It's a big blow.
We know that's why one of the main reasons throughout the whole transfer window, everyone was screaming for 2 strikers because we don't have a backup. We just do not have it. Andy Carroll is fantastic in the air, just to get the ball, not to do anything with it. Bless him, as much as he tries, all he does is wins the headers, and that's it. And then Joe Linton, I don't know, that header, if that had gone in, that would have been a mint goal. But that's the first time we've seen anything proper since the Cup. And then before the Cup, I can't even remember when. It's a massive, massive blow, especially because I know that obviously the performance has been absolutely shite, but he had already embedded himself into the team. And though half the time we can't actually get the fucking ball to him, which is obviously a major problem, when we don't have him there, we're completely fucked. Who's going to fucking score goals? No one. Absolutely no one. There's no one on that pitch that I feel comfortable doing goals. When it comes to Maxi, I think Maxi's asked and wanted to go as a free position. I think he's wanted that, and he needs, in my opinion, he needs to stay on the wing because that's his best way of going in. Because whenever he's playing down the middle, he plays with his back to the goal, and when he plays with his back to the goal, he loses it all the time. So the only thing that I can think they'll do is they'll shove Miggy up front and they'll put Joe Linton with him. That's the only thing I think that's going to happen. We're going to go back to having Joe Linton up front where we know he's not comfortable, and he'll put Miggy up front, which is shit really, because when it comes to Miggy and Maxi is better up front than he's defending because he can't defend it. But Miggy can defend as well, which then leaves us a little bit looser in midfield. It's all fucked. I knew this was going to happen. As soon as we had one fucking striker, boom, fucked. Absolute piss take. Fucking
under Bruce's record of injuries. Well, I'm not surprised, is it? Injuries follow him every club he ever goes to.
Well. That's the thing as well, though. We get told we've got an injury and we'll be out for a certain amount of time, and then it turns out they've done something else and they're out for longer. So then you're like, hang on a minute, that wasn't why he went out injured anyway. So Christ knows when he's going to be back.
Honestly, the way it's going, he'll bring him on with a leg cast on.
Run it off, lads.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, run it off. Sav, it's not good news losing Callum, is it?
No, I'm dreading to think what we're going to, we play shockingly enough as it is. What we're going to play like if he's not back, do we know how long he's out for yet? Or is that...
8 weeks has been...
Weeks.
Yeah, see, I saw that. But that's going to be a nightmare. I mean, people criticise me for it, but I try and sort of champion Joe Linton up a little bit because of all the stick he gets. I feel a bit sorry for him. But I would hate for him to be stuck back up front on his own again. I mean, that header, if that had gone in, I'd have celebrated like we won. To be fair, I'd have been so happy for him, but I wouldn't trust him being up front on his own night all the time for a few matches. I think by Christmas we could be in real trouble. you know, like Katie says, Miggy and Joelinton. Andy Carroll is good at clattering people to the floor, but that's about it. I don't know what else we could do, to be fair. I think that we didn't, obviously, whoever was, you know, sorting through when we was doing the transfers didn't think of the situation that we all thought of, that if Wilson got injured or St Max got injured, then we are going to be seriously struggling. You know, imagine if we go into another match and someone else, you know, another main person gets an injury, we're completely fucked then. You know, it's bad enough as it is, but it's actually really worrying. I don't know how he's going to work it. It's Steve Bruce, so I've probably put a defender up front now, Steve Bruce, move them all about. But I find it really concerning. I'm actually really worried about how we're going to move forward from here if Wilson is injured and out for a long time.
Not just him, Fraser as well.
Yeah, Fraser. Yeah, no, it's
How long's he out for?
Fraser, we don't know, but I mean, he's been pulled out of the Scotland squad. The story on Friday was that it looked as if Fraser's injury was going to be worse than Wilson's. Well, if it is, then that means if Fraser's, you know, if Wilson's out for 8 weeks, is Fraser out for longer? But no confirmation yet. Obviously, international break. The way that the club communicates, are we going to get an answer sooner rather than later? If anything breaks tonight, we'll let you know. But you know, either way, losing Wilson is the big one. You know, losing Fraser, who Bruce seems to only see as a squad player at the minute, you know, is bad as well. But yeah, it's not good going into our next game, which of course is Chelsea in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh dear me.
Oh no, Katie, what did you make of Mark Lawrenson's comments? Mark Lawrenson obviously getting quite a bit of stick off Newcastle fans on social media. More or less said on Football Focus that Newcastle fans are only happy when they're winning the Champions League, and you've got to be in it to do that. That was what he said.
What a fucking bellend. Like, literally, every single Newcastle player says the exact same thing. I'd be happy if we played all right, game in, game out. Which fuck is chatting about the Champions League? No one. I've not heard anyone. It's all fucking bollocks. Absolute bollocks. They all do it as well. They always go, oh, Newcastle reckon that they're the best in the world, blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. We actually are the ones that say more than anyone else how shit we're fucking playing. Absolutely. Oh, he's a wanker. I've never liked him. He's always been a fucking bastard. No.
Yeah,
next.
He's got an issue against Newcastle, of course, because he was brought in as defensive coach under Kevin Keegan, and that went well, didn't it? So I think, Sav, that's the reason he tends to have a dig at Newcastle every opportunity he can get.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole statement looked bitter as fuck. And then, you know, they said, oh, it was tongue in cheek. It was not tongue in cheek. You know, there was no smile there. There was no nothing. He said that seriously. And then they tried to palm it off as nothing. But, you know, it is like Kate said, you know, there's nothing. I was thinking the other day, you know, if it makes me a deluded Newcastle fan to want the best for our club, then, you know, that makes me a deluded Newcastle fan. I don't even know. You know, why would you sit there and go, oh, do you know what? We're never going to play Champions League, so we might as well settle for what we've got, you know, struggling to stay up every season, playing like shit. Of course you want better than that. Of course you want, you know, you want the best. And for him to sit there and make those flippant comments, which he would know would serve as nothing more than to anger fans rather than anything else, it was a bit of snipe. You know, he knew what he was doing, and it wasn't tongue-in-cheek, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay. Kendall, what was your take on his comments?
Well, just the same, really. He needs to get the salt out of his mouth, doesn't he, the little weirdo sitting there. Oh, yeah, Newcastle fans are so deluded because they want Champions League. We had 45 minutes of decent football a week ago, and we were like, yes, like Newcastle, Bruce Ball, Brucey Magician. So how is that one Champions League? We were buzzing with 45 minutes of good football. Like, I don't understand this whole, Newcastle fans are so deluded. Can I just say, in the last 3 seasons, we finished on 44 points, 45 points, and 44 points. Oh, I'm just wondering where the progression is in that, because to me, actually, it's going backwards. Oh, because we 1 point less. So how is that? How is wanting more than 44 points a season like an issue to people? I honestly do not get it. Not one single Newcastle fan that I know personally thinks that we will get Champions League. We want Champions League, but that's like 10 years away in this current situation right now. We are like so far away from Champions League. And of course, every single person of a team wants Champions League. Like, that is not a weird thing to want. And if you want it doesn't mean you think that you're going to get it, because we're nowhere near Champions League level. God, imagine. We're not even anywhere near an FA Cup level, like never mind Champions League. So I don't get it. He's just another media bruised fan, and like he's mate, and he just wants to blame the fans all the time, because that's all we ever get blamed for. We apparently hound managers out, and it's not true. Like it just isn't true, and it is so frustrating as a fan. Yes, like when you're a fan yourself, because you know that it's lies, but every other fan, like a fan of every other football club, believes it because the big names are saying it. And then for Dan Walker to come out afterwards and say and defend his comments, saying, well, he knows more about the game than anyone. Well, clearly not, because if he watched as much football as he apparently does, then he wouldn't be saying what he does, because he would see it himself. So, crack on, Matt Lawrenson, man, you absolute freak.
Yeah, exactly. That should become like a hashtag. I think it's been a weekend of cyber attacks and cyber bullying. Maybe we should join. If you can't beat them, join them. Somebody was asking about the Newcastle Consortium supporters. Any updates? If you want to follow them, they are on Twitter at NCSL1892. Give them a follow, and you will get any updates from them on there with regards to their campaign against the Premier League. And how's the bacon? Yeah, we'll take this one. He says, how's the bacon? Stepping away from the tune for a minute, what's your views on the Bamford offside decision? Katie, did you see it? He ran into the box, pointed where he wanted the ball, scored a brilliant goal, Patrick Bamford, and it was offside because he pointed where he wanted it.
What the actual fuck? Like, literally, I thought it was a joke. I never actually saw. I didn't watch the game. I saw a still of it, and I thought that's an actual joke. Someone's done it on purpose just to take the piss of it. I didn't actually realise it had happened. That's absolutely ludicrous. That's completely just ruining footy. No. How can you even do that? How can you make that as a decision? Just absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, it is spoiling football. Sav, there was that decision. There was penalties given again at the weekend. The one that stands out for me was Liverpool. Basically the ball in from De Bruyne hit the defender's hand, and he couldn't get out of the way. You're asking defenders literally to run now with their hands behind their backs so that they haven't got a flaying arm. Well, I mean, it's just not natural. It's supposed to help the game. It seems to have hindered the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how it improves the game at all. It makes it really clinical, so that, any touch of the arm, whether it's intentional, unintentional, is deemed a penalty. And I think that's wrong. I'm saying this after our 1-1 with Tottenham. But, I think it is, the rules are the rules, but you can't guarantee that the ball's going to come near you and not whack you on the arm on its way down. And making decisions like that, if they go our way, that's all right. But anyone else, I'm really against it. But no, I think it's just becoming way too much now. VAR as a whole, it's sort of ruining it a bit now, whereas it's just getting stupid, and then everyone's getting unhappy and everyone's complaining, but nothing changes. Yeah.
Okay, Kendall, your take on it, please.
Like, I thought before, like, you're only offside if it was a goal scoring part of your body. So how's a finger offside? Like, how does that make any sense? It's just so pathetic and stupid. And I don't know if it was in the Premier League or if it was in a German game, I can't remember, but there was a one as well where someone's knee was like literally just about that far over. Like, the problem is you've got to there's got to be a margin of doubt there, and there isn't. In any normal game that would have gone, because you wouldn't have been offside. So why are they choosing like little tiny 1 centimetre offside to be offside? There needs to be like a guideline, because it's just getting absolutely pathetic and ridiculous, and I really don't understand it. There was another one of the stupid handball decisions in the Wolves and Leicester game as well. It's becoming ridiculous. They want to get Jordan Pickford as a defender because he kind of get his arms on out, so he'd be all right. He wouldn't give any handballs away, would he?
Big shout out to newworkwear.com, specialists in the supply and branding of clothing for the workplace, for their sponsorship of StreamYard this month. And a big shout out to qtechshop.co.uk as well, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend. And of course, they've been donating some t-shirts, 3 Amigos t-shirts, where we've been raising money for the food bank. The final one is up for sale tonight. If you go onto my Twitter at Steve Wraith and make a bid, it's currently up at £130 now for that T-shirt, which means all 3 T-shirts will have made over £100, which is fantastic support from all you guys out there. You've got about 20 minutes now to get your bids in. As I say, the current bid for that is at £130. Martin Nesbitt asked, do you think Steve Bruce has lost the dressing room, Katie? It's something we've talked about before, something I mentioned a few weeks back. I'd heard a few rumours. But the way the players are playing, Fabian Schär's interview, of course, after the match at the weekend didn't sound very positive. Does it feel to you that he's lost the dressing room?
No. I think that he is very much a man manager, and they will get frustrated with him, but I think that they will always support him, because I think he supports them in a very man manager way, not in a very I need the best out of you football way, in a more of a I want you to be as happy as I can make you be happy. So I don't think he has lost it. When it comes to the actual performance side of it, he's completely lost it, completely. But there's one of the things that is always seems so obvious is that the players genuinely like adore him, and you can see that like the times that like Maxi scored and ran straight over to Bruce. So whatever he's doing, they are firmly on his side, and I could only assume it's the fact because he's being that man manager and being that I want to make sure that you're all right and you're taken care of, and that's probably why Maxi's playing a free position, because that's everyone knows he wants to go down that route, and that's probably why. So I don't think he has lost it. I think he's lost it in relation to being able to bollock them and get them to actually do anything, because when you all go too much on your man manager side, you almost lose the respect of being able to get away with. You'll always get, I can get away with anything I want. If I have a shit game this week, it don't matter, because I'll be in the squad next week, and then I can have another go next week and it'll be fine. You won't be asked. So I don't think he'd be in a position to be able to like kick off and go like Fergie on him and like throw boots and shit at him. I don't think he'll ever go down that route. But I think he'll be very much the whole, are you all right? I think you've played really well. You've done so good. You just need to carry on. Don't worry about all the mean things that are being said and that stuff like that. I just genuinely think that the players like him that much, you're going to have to do something absolutely mental to change that opinion of them.
Okay, Sab, what's your views?
See, I think the other way around. I think there's been a fallout somewhere. I mean, that Schär interview, God, it was so manly, wasn't it? But he was raging. Oh, it's beautiful. But he was raging, and I'm not someone who is happy with what's going on around them. Does not stand there and say that we've played shit and look as unhappy as what he did. And if you watch, I mean, all of them, if you watch them during the match, no one looked at Miggy. I haven't seen him smile for ages. And that's like, apart from like the odd like ones that they take at the training ground, I haven't seen him smiling on the pitch. He hasn't looked happy. And, you know, I think for Schär to kind of break ranks and speak out like that speaks volumes, because, you know, usually it's all full of excuses and, oh, well, you know, we're missing players and we've had some injuries, and there was none of that. It was straight to the point. We were shit. And he looked pissed off. And I think if that's just one of the players, then what are the mood of the general, you know, all of them? And it just seemed very downbeat. I know we just got absolutely thrashed, but we played diabolical, and there's no way they're running around. Some of them, they've got social media. They see the comments. They read all that. They know what people are feeling. And I just think as much as Bruce is everyone's mate, if you're getting that as well, you know, you're seeing what everyone's saying. You can't carry on thinking, oh, well, but he's really nice, so that's all right. And he says, don't worry about it, if everyone else is telling you you're shit.
Yeah, okay. Kendall, has Steve Bruce lost the dressing room?
See, I don't think the players will blame Steve Bruce, because I don't think he does much. I really personally don't feel like he does a lot of the technical stuff. I think he leaves it to Steve Agnew, because if you ever watch him in a game, I've said this, I think I said it last week or the week before, he's like a passenger. Like, he just sort of, he doesn't really shout any direction. It's always Steve Agnew choosing the subs. I really don't think the players will blame Bruce, because I don't think, as I say, he does a lot of the technical stuff. Like, for example, Shah to come out and say that and say, you know, we were shit and whatever. Like, where's your captain saying things like that? A few years ago, he was the one bullying everyone, saying this isn't good enough, like we need to step up and do this. And I really don't think he cares anymore. I don't know whether that's just sort of the general morale in the whole club at the moment, like all the you know, the up in the air stuff that's been going on for months and months and months, because still no one really knows like a solid answer. I just think just everything's been rubbish from start to finish. And for me, like I do agree with Katie. Like, I think Bruce is like their friend. Like, he just wants to be their mate. He's not. It's more of like, I think the players would be upset if Steve was like, I'm so disappointed in you. Because it's like, you know, one of them things when you used to get wrong off your parents and they used to be like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Like, it's that sort of vibes. I really don't think that they're scared of him. I don't think that they worry if they don't play well, because if you ever see his defeatist attitude, like pre and post match, like, who is going to care if you don't play very well? Because he's not going to sit there and like have a go at you. He's just going to say, oh, it's all right, Southampton were too good for us and we just didn't have enough to beat Southampton today. When 3-4 matches ago, before Southampton went on this good run of form, we all said we thought we would probably get a draw from Southampton, and that was one of the only points that we would get out of the next 5 fixtures. So, yeah, I don't know whether it's a case of losing the dressing room. I just think everyone's just, how can you play in that squad and be happy? Like, you just wouldn't. And poor Steve Bruce has blood in his hands for taking the smile off Miggy's face. He never blooming stopped smiling for 2 years, and now here he is. Misery.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel sorry for him.
Definitely right about that. Katie, Alan Thompson's question: would your opinion change if Steve Bruce if we won the cup?
No. The only way that my opinion is ever going to change of Steve Bruce is if we play week in, week out fantastic football and get fantastic results. That is the only way it's ever going to change, which is not going to happen because we're too inconsistent. So if we win the cup, it wouldn't change at all. It literally needs to be consistent, decent football week in, week out. That's going to change my mind on that. Not a cup. As much as I like a cup, but nah.
Okay, same question to you, Sav. Would you change your mind if Brucey was walking around Wembley with the Carabao Cup in his in one hand and a pie in the other?
Do you know what? Could you imagine if we won a cup? It would be like the flukiest final on the planet. Like, we'd win it by some random like penalty that weren't supposed to be a penalty, and then Steve Bruce would be running around like we were the. Yeah. It would just be that. I couldn't imagine us going into a cup final and actually playing like winners. We'd just sort of turn up, and then like the random handball would come out of there, and then, you know, be like, hey, aren't we the best? And we'd all rave for a week and then go back and play shit football the next week. But no, like Kate said, all I want to see is us actually go out there and play a decent game. Like, even if we like pushed forward and lost a game, I would prefer that than to watch us just sit back, let them let the other side take the piss and have a boring draw. Like, it's not exciting to watch. That's all I want to see. Any change, like when we came out at the weekend after half time, unchanged. We played completely shite the first half. Why would you come in at half time and not think, do you know what, I've got to change this up, I've got to do something? He doesn't do anything. You know, I just want to see change, and I want to see exciting football, and then my opinion would change of him. But yeah, that's where I sort of stand on it. Okay,
Kendall?
Yeah, my opinion would never change, because he's done this for 20 years in his footballing career. What success has he had, really, in a very genuine sense? He's had no success. He is he's got one of the worst like stats in the whole of the Premier League for managers. Nothing would make me change, even if we did win a cup, because that's not like the most important thing ever. Like, the league is, and we're not progressing at all. As Sav says, if we won a cup, it would be the luckiest thing ever. And the only way, in my opinion, will ever change of him is if he starts coming out telling the truth in his interviews and saying, you know what, my tactics were wrong today and I've made the wrong decision. Or coming before a game and saying, we're going to go at them, we're going to do everything we can to beat these because it's doable. Instead of saying, oh, so-and-so are a really good team and it'll be hard work, but we'll try. And like, no, he wanted to defend a 1-0 defeat on Friday. That was my opinion. When we went 1-0 down, that was it. We got just completely defensive, started playing so deep, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to defend 1-0 win, a 1-0 defeat. Sorry. If we go out every week and attack, and like when we first set up against Wolves, and we were all like, "What the hell is going on?" and we actually started attacking, it was great. Everyone's like, "Oh yes, this is what we want to see." But then he just reverts to playing 1-9-1 again. It's like it's just stupid. Honestly, when we watched it on Friday, 8 of our players at any one time were in like our own half. We just had no forward ability whatsoever, and that's what's frustrating. So my opinions are never going to change unless he books his ideas up and starts doing something, because I can't see it anytime soon. I really can't.
Okay, that's fair enough. Martin's asking the next 5 fixtures. What's the points total that the panel think we will get? So, obviously, looking at the games that we've got coming up over the next few weeks, our next game is Chelsea at home. Then we have Crystal Palace away, Aston Villa away.
Leeds on the 15th of December,
Yeah, West Brom at home, and then Leeds away. That's the 5 games. So Chelsea, first of all, girls. Go with you, Katie, first. We're going for a 0. We're going for a 0. Was this like the Eurovision? Nil point.
Yeah, nil point.
Nil point. Crystal Palace away.
Nil point.
Nil point.
We'll be fucking goal difference as well.
So then we'll go to Aston Villa, who either win 4-0 or get beat 4-0.
Yeah. Nil point. There's no way we'll ever break them down. No chance. When they've got Grealish and Barkley and Watkins, absolutely not a chance against us. That. Oh my god! In fact, that's probably my worst feared game out of them whole fixtures.
Okay, because that could be like a 6-0, 7-0 game. You think? Okay, West Brom at home. Katie?
The way they play, I think it could only be a 1.
I mean, I'll go for 1 on that.
What, a 1 point?
1.
1 point. Okay, so that leaves Leeds away.
No point.
Oh my god!
Not a fucking chance.
1 point out of 5, then. 1 point out of 5.
If we've not got Wilson, and then Fraser's injured as well, honestly, we'll be bottom of the table come Christmas.
Just remember as well, obviously without Wilson, you need to remember that most games everyone tries to take St. Max out. So I'm guaranteeing you he's going to be injured sometime soon because everyone tries to take him out.
We're going to give away so many fouls if Andy Carroll's our number 9, like where you're playing in the number 9 position because he elbows everyone in the box. We're going to give away so many penalties. Oh, I'm worried. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's that's definitely cheered everyone up. Paul Davison, no, it hasn't, mate. You've got 10 minutes left. Get on Twitter. It's at £130 at the minute. Keith Roll asks a question. Katie, come to you first. Can you name one player that has improved since being managed by Steve Bruce?
Kel Watts.
Kel Watts.
Because he's got...
he did get managed. He's not there. He disappeared.
Okay, Sav, Katie, do you want time? Do we need an hour's break to think about this? Because I'm struggling already with that question.
I literally can't.
Darlow's improved. Yeah, Fabian Schär's hair's improved. If we can class that as an improvement.
His hair's improved, but his temper hasn't. He's angry at Steve Bruce.
I love it. Clearly. It's wonderful to see. But no, I think Darlow has improved, but I don't know if that's down to Steve Bruce, to be fair. I wouldn't be sure of that, you know. No, I can't think of anyone else. I think quite a few have deteriorated, to be fair.
Right, okay. Kendall, any advance on Kel Watts and Carl Darlow?
Yeah, well, Carl Darlow, but I think that's Steve Harper. I don't think Steve Bruce has anything to do in goal. And Jacob Murphy, only because he's actually getting game time at the club, and before he wasn't. But other than that, he's not really improved necessarily. It's just that he's actually starting now. But no one else.
He was probably quiet on Friday, though. He was quiet on Friday. Didn't even really notice him.
Next, about the meeting tomorrow, Katie. Richard Masters, do we expect him to get hauled over the coals tomorrow? Is this just a bit of flannel to keep the fans happy? Do you expect anything to come from this?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah,
I literally
that's fair enough.
I've not got involved in any of it, so I literally have no idea what's going.
He's up in front of the. He's up in front of the. He's up in front of the committee. The hope is that there's going to be some kind of revelations, and he's going to be held to account for essentially, preventing Newcastle's takeover from going through. They're hoping that it's going to be like another step in the right direction for a takeover to eventually go through, I suppose. But
it'll probably just go down the route of like something will delay it, like it always seems to do. Any kind of response on things always seems to just get delayed on stuff. I have no idea. I've purposely stayed out of all takeaway stuff, and it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed Twitter without it. It's been a joy. So I can't really give more of an opinion than I haven't got a fucking clue.
Okay, Sav?
Do you know what? I think I've sort of tried to learn to not expect anything or any progress because it causes, less disappointment. And Richard Masters, to be fair, he's such a slimy little shit. He'll just squirm his way out of it, as per usual, with excuses. And it'll be like when we was all waiting for that reply from the Premier League. And we got it. And it was just like what we already knew. It was just, there was nothing in there of any, substance that gave us an answer to anything. And I think tomorrow will probably be just so much of the same.
Yeah. Okay, Kendall?
Yeah, the last meeting they had, he didn't really say any new information. He just sort of swung it in a way that sounded like it was new information, and it wasn't. It was just that we knew all along. So he's not going to come in front of a fan board and tell them breaking news, because that's not going to do anything. If anyone was going to find out breaking news, it would be the club. We'd be the last to find out. We always are. So I can't see them giving any, brand new pieces of hopeful information tomorrow at all. I think it's just going to be the same old. But I don't know. Fingers crossed. This year has been wilder than any of us ever imagined. So you never know.
Yeah. Was one of you mentioning on Twitter today about Lazaro?
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was you. I wasn't. Really, he did score a goal. Now I haven't seen it. Everyone seems to be raving about it. Is it some kind of worldie? Is it?
It's a scorpion kick. It's unbelievable. It's perfectly placed. Honestly, unreal.
Do you want to
Absolutely
reenact
beautiful.
it? What's a
I
scorpion
don't
kick?
think so. like an overhead kick, but it's really. Yeah.
To people in their late 40s, that's a bicycle kick.
Bicycle kick.
It's like the opposite of a bicycle kick, isn't it?
Is it? All right,
It's like
okay.
the other way around, like your legs go
Like
up the back and
forwards.
you do shit into the goal, yeah.
I was a below average centre half. I used to just hack people. So I never used to see that kind of action. But yeah, so it's a good goal.
Really
So
good.
would you have kept him then, Kendall?
I said from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have kept him regardless. He could be the worst footballer in history, and I would have still kept him. But no, seriously, he was so. I thought he was good whenever he played for us. But some fans only remember him for the red card he got. But if you I've watched him for a good few years now, even from when he was at Hertha Berlin, and he was unreal there. And he just didn't get enough chance when he was at us. He could have been so good. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually playing a more attacking role at Mönchengladbach. So whether he was just wasted, because he is kind of a wing back, really that's his position, but whether he was wasted, I don't know. But hey ho, we'll never know now. He is only on loan at Mönchengladbach though, so
Okay, Little Musgrave, no, we're not doing it this week. We'll want to get this food bank t-shirt sorted out, but don't worry, it hasn't been forgotten. I know Sav was hoping it had been, but it hasn't been. But we'll do something for the food bank.
I was going to say earlier, can we not mention it? Can we just pretend it never happened?
There is worse things that you could be asked to do, I suppose. But we'll see. Yeah, a lot of questions coming in about the fans and the takeover and various other things like that. I mean, the takeover has gone quiet, and we don't expect to hear anything until this legal action takes place. So hopefully the legal action, does jettison into some kind of takeover. But it was certainly positive, Katie, to hear, a comment from the Saudi representative last week where he more or less just said, look, we could be back at the table at some point. But he was basically dropped in it by the interviewer. He was asked a question, about lots of other things, and then they threw the Newcastle takeover into the mix. And, he was probably caught a little bit off guard, but it did sound promising. But as usual on Twitter, it went It went all over the place. Lots of people were saying it was a bad thing. Other people were saying it was a good thing. It's the way you interpret it, isn't it?
See, this is what I love because I didn't even know that happened. I had literally no idea that happened. That's why I was like, I've got a clue what he's talking about here. You might gonna have to blag an answer because I haven't got a clue what he's on about.
Yeah.
I've got a fucking clue. Like I've said all the way along since I decided to ignore it. Until someone stood on that pitch, I'm not interested in any of it because I get my hopes up for winning games. Like a takeover is massive, so I haven't got a clue about it. It sounds very nice, but the girls will probably give you more responsibility off me, I'm afraid.
All right, Tav.
Yeah. Do you know what? For me, it was sort of just one of those answers that was sort of it. You could put a positive spin on it, but you could also put the spin on it that he was unprepared for the question. So he didn't answer either way, and I try not to get my hopes up on it and think too much into it, even though I normally do. But for me, as I say, yeah, it was one of those answers you could take either way for me, and yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm trying not to look too much into it.
Okay, and what about you, Kendall?
Yeah, same. I think he said, like, if there was a way that the deal could be revived, then they would be doing it. I think it's something along those lines. So yeah, it's one of them things again. It's just people just feeding into it because they want positive news. They want the takeover go ahead. So obviously people are going to pick any single little thing, especially when it's gone quiet. It was a decent enough answer, obviously when we were saying when St. Maximin did that interview the other week and he said, I want to stay at the club, but I would like to play a Champions League, blah, blah, blah. And if the club is fitting into my progression, then I'll stay. But I think it's one of them, you've got to just please both sides. You can't give any information away if you know it. You can't upset anyone. So it's just a very safe answer for me.
Okay. We've had a few people asking about the Steve Bruce situation. Obviously, with your predictions over the last 10 minutes about the next 5 games, a lot of people are saying, would you get rid of Bruce now, Katie?
Oh, see, this is one thing that most people ask, and I actually genuinely do not have a fucking clue, because you don't know who you're going to get in replace. Who the fuck would want to take us as a team at the moment? And is it a case of better the devil you know? Because we'll get someone in and it all falls apart completely. I haven't got a fucking clue. I generally just I've thought about it quite a bit, but I just don't know. Is it because it's who the fuck would want to take us? It would be literally anyone just go for scraps. And on the fact that he was the 12th pick anyway, like that just speaks volumes that who we'd actually get instead. No one else is going to want to come anywhere near us because we play fucking crap. But mainly, no one wants to come anywhere near us because of fucking Ashley. I would actually love to have Gerard, and I think he's done really well with Rangers. But I haven't got a clue. I'd like it to be someone else, but someone else who I know is a lot better and would take us places. And because I don't think that's what we'd get, I'll probably stick with Bruce.
Okay, Sav, we've had this question many times, but we've got to ask it. People are asking the question, would you get rid of him now?
Do you know what? And as I keep saying, I've done a complete U-turn on him because like last season I was in the closet. I kind of liked him and, he comes across as a nice guy. But now, looking at the absolute shite that we've been playing and it's not improving, I would take anyone over Steve Bruce at the moment, just to give anyone else a chance to, try and improve on whatever the fuck is going on that pitch, because the morale looks low. There's no drive. He's everyone's friend. No one. I watch his press conferences and they make me rage with him sitting there. He's like, "Oh, Southampton is such a great team, and the best team won today." Why are you saying that as manager? You should be saying, we haven't done good enough, and we need to improve. And he just stood there and he was just like, you could see his brain ticking, just trying to think of the right thing to say that wouldn't make him look like such an arsehole that had done a bad job. And that is what infuriates me. So yeah, I would take anyone over him, to be fair, because I'd like to see anything differently tried than what he's currently trying, because he's not trying new things. We're just stuck at the same level of shit week after week.
Okay, Kendall, you're nodding your head in agreement.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture for me because I think, like, as Katie said, better the devil, you know, like, you just don't know who you're going to get in. The only way I want a new manager is if we're going to get someone good in. I'm not going to sit there and have, like, a manager like bloody Nigel Pearson pop up. Like, I just don't want that. We're just going to be at the same position in the next 6 months. Like, and I know, like, Nigel Pearson's got a good record of keeping teams up and that, and same as Sam Allardyce, but I don't want that. I want progressive, modern football. Look at Ralph Hasenhüttl, for example, at Southampton. Like, he was practically an unknown manager, even though he did really, really well. I think he was at Leipzig before, and he did really, really well, and he got them Champions League in their first season. Oh, what was that? That was so loud. And he got them Champions League in their first season. I thought it was like a beep. I'm sick of beeps tonight. But yeah, and so look at that. Look at Graham Potter, for example, at Brighton. Like, even they're playing like better football than us, even though their results haven't said so. But David Moyes at West Ham, because everyone's doing better than Bruce, and oh my god.
Well, is it a good thing? I think it may be me getting a text message actually, but it's because I've got me.
I keep jumping.
It's because I've got me headset out. Sorry, I can't do anything about it.
No, so the only reason I would want anyone else in is if they were going to do a better job. I don't want the same old crap position. I don't want blooming Steve Agnew in charge neither. So yeah, I just really don't know what to think. Unless he improves the next 3 games, we need someone else in. But no one's going to come under Ashley, and no one's going to come if we've got that many injuries. Because what they're going to do?
Pochettino seems to be sitting around waiting for something. Is he waiting for the Newcastle
Man United job? Man United
you think
job
so?
he's waiting for, 100%. Or
yeah.
Arsenal. Oh, well, I would say Arsenal, but he won't go Arsenal. He was Tottenham's manager, so he won't go Arsenal. So, and he loves Tottenham. So yeah, I think he's waiting for the Man United job.
Man United.
It's interesting that he's sitting there waiting for something.
Then I did see a thing the other day, though. I don't know who it was. It might have been like one of the shite papers, like The Sun or something. But I'm sure he had apparently been asked about the Man United job when Ollie was losing, and he said that he had interest from another Premier League club on the back of that. So I don't know what that means. I highly doubt it's us. It could be anyone. But yeah, so I don't know what's happening. But he's definitely waiting for, you know, like a big name job, I would say.
Would anybody take Eddie Howe? Lots of people in the chat suggesting Eddie Howe. Is it somebody, you know, even if he came in short? Because Malcolm MacDonald made the point on the show a couple of weeks back that, you know, he felt that a manager would take the job because that's what football managers do. And if he was here for 6 weeks or 6 months, it was worth him going in and taking it and giving it a go. So he feels that, you know, somebody would take it, but wouldn't be waiting as long as we are now for the job. And there's always the off chance if someone come in and does well that they're going to get a decent payday if we do get a takeover.
I was going to say, then who's going to want to come in thinking that, takeover might happen next week, and you might be like, see ya. Like, that's the problem, that the club is so up in the air at the minute. Like, you don't know who you're going to come in. You need a short-term manager like Sam Allardyce. You know, I don't want Sam Allardyce, but just like his sort of managerial type, where you come in to do a particular job and you do it. I think that's what we're probably needing at the moment until we are more aware of what's going on.
Yeah, we definitely just need a stopgap, someone to just fill it in for a bit. But the issue is that who the fuck is going to want to do a stopgap under Ashley?
I know, if Steve Bruce is our 12th choice, who the bloody hell was 13th? I would not like to know.
A lot of people suggesting Ranieri, Kets Byers getting a mention by Andy Gibson. Beg Chris Hughton to come back, says Barry Hogan. You know, there is options out there. You know,
I'd have
Nigel
Chris Hughton all day long.
Nigel Pearson, says Lee Sudds.
Well, that's what I did say before, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of those questions, I mean, which may never have an answer, because, you know, I don't think Mike Ashley will want to sack Steve Bruce. I think he'll keep a hold of him. He won't have that in his mind because he's got one eye on a potential takeover going through, hasn't he? So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
The thing is as well, though, if you like, don't watch any of the footy and just look at the paper and look at the points and look at the fact that how far we're on the cup. You wouldn't want to get rid of a manager like that. Well, you watch the match, you watch the footy, and you see the stats about all of the shots against us. You want to fucking get the manager out. But they're looking at the actual what matters to them is the end result, not the middle bits.
as well. And if
That's the
a manager comes in and does, and we're all like, oh well, this is rubbish. Oh, we're going to be called deluded again because we got what we wanted. We got a new manager, and it's still not good enough. So it's just, anything's going to be bad for us. So
if someone else does come in and we complain, all we'll get is they all want Steve Bruce back now.
Yeah, deluded.
Yeah.
That's what we'll be called, deluded.
Yeah. Final question of the night then, getting back to the team. We've got to Katie, who would you put out? Give us your ideal midfield for Newcastle United moving forward. We've tried a few different combinations. Hendrick clearly doesn't float any of your boats at the moment. Fully fit midfield. Who are you going to pick?
Are we going to go fully fit? I'd do Maxi, Miggy. I don't even know why I'm even going to say this. I think I'll actually put Joe Linton in.
I was going to say that.
I know. And then Fraser.
Right, okay.
I don't even know why I'm just thinking it. There's just something in me head. And then if he fucks up, he can fuck off.
Okay, so you play. Okay,
it depends what formation you play though, because if he's going to play like a 2-3-1 sort of, I don't know what he's thinking really at the minute.
Okay. All I really want is Joe Linton just to be the little middleman in between Miggy and Wilson, just to knock it forward, not even try and score because he can't do that. Just to have a presence there. That's
I'm just laughing at that comment.
Need to do anything. Just literally just presence in the actual middle bit. You can just wander around, need the ball and stuff, and scare people. That'll be fine.
Okay, Sav, are you going with Rafa Benitez as God's midfield? Hendrick, and Hendrick?
Absolutely not. No. On FIFA at the moment, because this is how my life is going, I'm playing Hayden, Miggy, St Max, and who have I got there? God, I can't remember now. Who do I have there? Fraser. And then I change it to Shelby in the second half because that seems to work quite well. But obviously you've got to make changes in the second half to actually, keep the legs fresh because they tire off. So I would have that personally. But like Kendall says, it depends how you play them and what formation you're playing in.
Right, okay. How are you doing on FIFA?
I am I'm at the top of the league.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm at the top of the league. We've won a cup. Yeah, it's going really well. We look do you know what? After that match on Friday, I spent all weekend on FIFA because we look really good. And then I end up in a better mood. I'm like, what? We actually played really well today. And, and I think I put on Twitter yesterday, there's so many glitches on it. Like my manager, he turned up in full kit with socks to the match. So if only Steve Bruce did that would be amazing.
Oh my God, please. Like when there was that picture of Mbemba going around and he showed up in his little tuxedo when Steve
that was funny.
The manager. Oh, you so cute.
Horrible.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I like the sound of your midfield. What about you, Kendall? And John Justice Allen, thank you for that from QTech Shop. 3 T-shirts over the last 3 weeks have made £480 from the fans. QTech will make it up to 500, so 500 quid for the food bank of 3 simple T-shirts by NUFC matters, so in association with QTech. So thank you very much, everyone who's joined in on that. There was an ask in the chat if you could do a female T-shirt, John. So maybe we could do that for next week. If you can do a ladies' night T-shirt, NUFC Matters ladies' night T-shirt, that would be good. Yeah, go on, Katie. You've got your hand up there.
I know, I don't even know why I did that. It's because I've just remembered someone. I
go for it.
Forgotten they existed. But I'm trading now. Joe can fuck off, and I put Gail with Miggy. I completely forgot about Dwight Gale. I would.
All right, okay. Yeah, all right. That's fine.
Can I just put one in? Matt Ritchie as well. I totally forgot about him because he's one of my favourites. I just put him on just because I like him.
Yeah, well, I did say fully fit squad, so yeah, that's okay. Right, go on and Kendall, you've had a bit more time to think about it than the other two.
Okay, I'd have Tio Ikabai and Diami. Bye. No, okay, I'll be serious. Depends what you're going to play. So I think I'd have Hayden and Shelby. I know I can't even put Shelby back in there. I've lost the plot, but this is just how I feel at the moment. I think I'd have Hayden and Shelby as a 2. And then just off them, I'd have see, this formation's dodgy. I don't know what the crack is because you can't play him as wing back. Change that actually, because I think I'm just going to have to go with a 3. So I'd have Hayden in the centre of the three, Fraser on the right, Maximin on the left, and then I'd have Miggy and Wilson just in front. So Miggy's a bit like central because he can like go forward, and then Wilson just in front of him. I think that's what I would do if you're going to play like 2 wing backs. I don't know like how you're going to put that, because I think we've got so many people in midfield now that don't really do anything. Who are you even going to put there? I'd only have Hayden. I think I'd just have wingers instead. I think I would only have Hayden unless you were going to play a 4, and I'd play. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe Shelby might have to come back in.
Great stuff as always. It's always good to debate. Everybody in the chat had an opinion as well. Big thanks to everyone who joined in. Tomorrow night, of course, I will be back at the earlier time at 6 o'clock with Liam Kennedy from the Shields Gazette, when we'll be talking about the last 7 days at Newcastle United. And we always finish off, we will be for the remainder of this month, with our Phone a Friend video. Basically just asking you to pick up a phone and speak to somebody over the next few weeks, as we're all in lockdown in the UK. So please do think about it. Phone a friend. From Kendall, from Sav, from Katie, and from me, it's good night. Have a good night. Take care, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.